All right, welcome back to SportsLine right here on News Channel 5 Plus. We, of course, continue our evening with Jonathan Hutton, our good buddy from Outkick 360, and, of course, our Titans and NFL analysts on News Channel 5 on the Electric Power Company's Sunday Sports Central. Actually, you've been helping us out all year with your Titans knowledge and analysis, and we really appreciate it, Jay Hutt. You really add a great element to the show. And how great has it been to add the Titans' former great linebacker Keith Bullock to our Sunday shows as well?
Dude, how much fun has KB been? He's been awesome.
Yeah.
And it just kind of happened last minute. You know, he and I were chatting about doing a show on Sunday afternoon, like kind of a noon kickoff recap show, just because we were bored, right? Like we had nothing to go on.
Right.
And I said, you know what? Instead of throwing this together, what if we try to, get something going on Sunday Sports Central? He's like, I'd love that. So you guys have been awesome. You guys make it extremely easy. With Brian and Coos and you and Steve, tremendous and easy to work with. We just show up and chit chat. You guys put all the hard work and effort in, and it's been a blast. You guys make it a lot of fun behind the scenes.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, because it is great having you guys in studio. It makes for, the time goes by a lot faster. We do have a lot of fun. All right, before we get to the SEC championship game, I want to get your thoughts on, both local SEC teams, Tennessee and Vanderbilt, each completing year one with a new coach. Let's start with Tennessee. Josh Heupel, 7 wins, gets them to a bowl game in year one, and given all the ups and downs that program has gone through over the past few years, I think that was really important for Heupel to come in, reestablish the program, get them to a bowl game year one.
If you said, hey, Vols fans, this is me in August, 7 wins, what do you say? I think everybody raises their hand and is like, sign me up, And oh, by the way, you nearly beat Pitt and you nearly beat Ole Miss, and you still have 7 wins.
Hung with Alabama for 3 quarters.
Hung with Alabama, yeah. I mean, there have been so many positive signs that Heupel has this program going down the right path. And for me to say that 4 months after he first started coaching in Knoxville in real life games is remarkable, because we have seen the car accidents that the previous coaching staffs have provided for us. There have been glimpses of positivity. There's been win streaks by Jeremy Pruitt. Butch Jones had some nice wins early on. I remember the South Carolina matchup, the opener of the season, and everyone said this is a massive game, and Tennessee actually won that game, and ultimately it doesn't matter for the head coach at the end of the year. Point being, Heupel has given so many signals that he's got things going down the right path, and the thing I like the most, and maybe the biggest sign, is not one time has he looked to the media from the time he was hired to today, has he looked out and said, hey, by the way, we had limited number of scholarship players and we had guys transfer. Wait until we get our guys in here. Instead, he took what he had and he went out and performed well and coached great. And the reason I say that, John, even in games where they lost, there were plays that he schemed guys open offensively.
Right.
Early in the season against Florida, there's that 4th down drop. Joe Milton throwing passes into the grandstands instead of just, lobbing one over against Pitt. I mean, They had bomb after bomb after bomb wide open against Pitt, and that was Heupel calling those plays. That's what's so great about the direction I think he has this program, is even in the losses, you don't have to point to inept coaching or, oh, what's this guy thinking? I didn't have nearly as many of those situations as I've had with Pruitt or with Butch Jones.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, on the other side, there's Vanderbilt, just 2 wins on the year.
Yeah.
No wins in the SEC, but man, I like Clark Lee. I like the fact that he's a Vandy guy. He knows how the sausage is made on West End, and I think ultimately he'll be the man for the job. What say you?
I respect the heck out of him because of the job he took on. Because if Clark Lee does not take the Vanderbilt job, there is a good chance, John, he's the head coach at Notre Dame right now.
I know, right? Yep. Yep.
If he waits one more offseason, he's the head coach at Notre Dame. And There are so many coaches that would not even return a phone call if Vanderbilt called them because of the mess they're in. And they needed someone like him to take over the program that understands what he's getting into, that understands the challenges that go into everything behind the scenes there. And luckily for him, Dr. Candace Story-Lee has put some resources behind him that I actually believe are going to happen. I hope sooner rather than later for his sake. But I like his staff. All that being said, what I saw from Vandy is the worst I've seen it personally.
Yeah.
Like even going back to the days growing up and watching them play in some miserable teams, this was really bad. He's got a heck of an uphill climb, and that's why I respect him so much. Is I think he knew that when he took over, and that's what's so commendable, because he's got a lot of work. And the thing I like about him, John, he's not afraid to roll up the sleeves and get to work. That's him. You know, there's no any extracurricular. Look over here so you don't see what's going on this side. He's just like, hey, matter of fact, here's what it is, and we're moving forward. Let's get to recruiting.
In the words of Super Chicken to his faithful sidekick Fred, you knew the job was tough when you took it, right? All right, SEC Championship game coming up. You can watch it Saturday on News Channel 5. Looking forward to it. Georgia against Alabama. Now, Hutton, I don't know. Call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, or call me someone with a lot of Alabama fatigue. I don't trust this committee. Part of me thinks if Alabama loses a close game to Georgia, they're still going to get into the college football playoff. You know, everybody, you know, Cincinnati and Oklahoma State and whoever else be damned. But a lot of people are saying Alabama has to win or they're out. What say you?
I feel that way. Now, if you gave me the scenario that Cincinnati loses to Houston and Oklahoma State loses to Baylor and Bama loses to Georgia, that's whenever I'm asking you, okay, how did you lose? Because in some cases it does matter not if you lose, but how you lose.
Right.
Do they give Georgia a true run for their money and they get screwed out of a call the way the Saints were screwed out of a call in the postseason? Like, just throwing that out there.
Sure.
Like, I'm not saying that any scenario out there doesn't have Bama stay in with a loss. Point being, though, it's going to take a lot to happen if Bama loses to Georgia. And the reason I believe the committee will knock them out is the way they've treated them over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So they have a close call against LSU, and they actually fell down a spot. Ohio State jumped them, right? Because of their win over Michigan State, Ohio State jumped them. They rewarded Ohio State, and they didn't treat Bama like Bama just because they won. And so I like that. Michigan jumps them this week. They jumped both Cincinnati and Alabama. Cincy didn't jump Bama, though, because of their overtime win over Auburn. So that's intriguing. But another loss has them out if Cincy and Oklahoma State take care of their own business.
All right, we got one more break to get with, and we wrap up our evening with Jonathan Hutton. A chance for him to get his plugs in, because it's right. You want to follow this guy. If you want to know what's going on in and around sports in the area and beyond, you got to follow Jonathan Hutton. We'll get to that right on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. We're back.